Hello there, and welcome back for the Week 13 update. Since you saw me last, we had our third and final adoption, which was Garbanzo. It was another hard goodbye, and we do miss him, but he went to a lovely woman who is also a vet tech, so he's gonna be in a great home and in super capable hands. So we now have Pipa, Garbanzo, and Scrungus all in their forever homes, which means the two little goblins staying with us are Dave and Gandalf. I definitely miss having a little kitten army, although there are still 5 cats in the house, which is not insignificant, but it's also exciting because now that we have the 2 kittens and Netia, we can really focus all of our time and energy into their growth and development and playtime, etc. I've been getting a lot of questions about how we made the decision as to who was getting adopted out and who we were keeping, and a lot of you actually correctly predicted that we would be keeping Gandalf and Dave, but it was actually a much harder decision than it may have seemed. There were a ton of factors involved, and like I've said 1,000 times, it was really hard to make the decision. But for Gandalf, to put it bluntly, she is a massive liability. She's a little demon baby, and we didn't want to foist that upon anyone else. Also, Jackson and I both have a huge soft spot for bad cats, so we knew that she needed to stay with us. To have a kitten with as much, to have anything, to have an animal with as much of a personality as Gandalf does, that would have been so hard to let go. And then for Dave, over the past few weeks, maybe months, he's revealed himself to be kind of the neediest of the bunch, which, I mean, with all the love in the world, but he is a little bit more timid, he is a little bit easier to startle, and he is definitely the one that has remained closest to his mom. And though all the kittens are super well adjusted, although I don't know if you could necessarily call Gandalf well adjusted, but anyway, we felt that Dave should probably be the one that we kept closest to us. Oh, also, I've got a piece of exciting news regarding Pipa. Pipa's new family got him tested for FIV, and he's negative. So right now, that means that Scrungus, Garbanzo, and Pipa are all negative for FIV, and Gandalf and Dave will be tested at 6 months, so we're super optimistic and have our fingers crossed. Big event of the week. Netia got spayed on Monday. She was and remains a trooper about it. The procedure went totally fine, no complications. For the first few days after the procedure, we did have to keep Netia mostly separated from the kittens because we didn't want her to be jumping or playing or roughhousing, as those types of things could cause her to rip a stitch, and also because we didn't want to run the risk of the kittens accidentally or intentionally ripping out a stitch. Because of the stitches, she does have to wear a collar, and the standard issue Vetcone that she got is hard plastic. It's not super comfortable, so we've been trying a bunch of different options. Thanks to you all who have given me marvelous recommendations. So far, we've tried the donut, which we liked. It worked really well. It was lightweight, pretty comfortable, looked hilarious. We tried this weird flower thing that was just an immediate no. What she's wearing right now is a post-surgical feline onesie. So it covers her stitches, it keeps her from agitating them, it keeps the kittens from agitating them, but it also gives her a similar degree of freedom of movement, and she doesn't have something bulky around her neck. The company that I ordered it from sent us the wrong size, so we safety pinned it, which is why it looks a little weird. The relationships between the 2 other cats in the house and Netia and their kittens is continuing to improve. We've had a few ups and downs. This past week, Netia did get a little territorial a few times and would just like block Nigel's path, sometimes flanked by her kittens. But they're also making really big strides in terms of just coexisting. Like, they'll be both eating together or out of bowls next to each other, and they won't like hiss at each other, and there's been a lot of nose booping and sniffing and non-aggressive interactions, which is great. Already pretty much gave you the spiel about Netia. Let's talk about Gandalf. Gandalf is just so incredibly smart, it's mind-boggling. I've been doing some reading and research to learn more about feline enrichment, so how to keep the cats engaged and to make sure they're being mentally stimulated through games or activities or whatnot. And I definitely want to make toys or games for them to help keep them on their toes and create a really engaging atmosphere. Gandalf, like, oh, I mean, I'm certainly biased, but she's really smart. She learns very, very quickly. So I'm excited to see how that goes. If you guys have any suggestions, drop them in the comments. Something kind of hilarious that both Jackson and I have noticed about Gandalf this past week is when she is doing something that she's not supposed to do, she purrs. Really, really, really loudly. For example, she's not allowed in this bedroom because of my allergies, and sometimes she'll just sometimes if she sees an opportunity to run, she'll just bolt for it and go right under the bed, and I'll pull her out and she'll just be vibrating so hard. It's so funny. It's like she knows, and no, she knows. She also has been enjoying screaming at the ceiling fans. I don't know why, but you know, you'll walk into a room and she'll just be sitting on a bed just shouting at the ceiling fan, which is a little different from Dave, because Dave just likes screaming in general for absolutely no reason. Sweet Dave. Speaking of Dave, Dave has been my muse for my green screen endeavors. Basically, I bought a green screen, I'm learning how to chroma key. It's been super interesting, but I need a test subject, and Dave has graciously agreed to help me. So that's been fun. He's been a really good sport about being draped in green fabric, so I've got to give him credit for that. I don't think Gandalf would put up with it quite as much. We'll see. Dave has also kind of taken a page out of Gandalf's book this week and has climbed a few screens, specifically like window screens, which I have never seen him do, and Gandalf has been doing since Costa Rica. So hopefully not too many of her bad habits will rub off on him. We'll see. Up until now, Dave and Gandalf have been surrounded by their siblings, and it's been really nice watching them interact now that it's just the two of them in terms of kittens. They are spending a lot of time together. They're really cuddly with each other. They sleep together. Of course, they play fight and all that jazz. But yeah, it seems to be going really well with the two of them. I feel like as different as their personalities are, I feel like they're gonna be really good together here. Also, the kittens are almost big enough for their harnesses. They do not like them yet, but we're gonna start putting them on just for a really short amount of time each day like we did with Netia, and hopefully they will adjust to it, and then we'll be able to take them outside on walks. So that's week 13, guys. Thank you for joining me. As always, you can subscribe here if you want to keep up with our shenanigans. I'm also on TikTok at Indoor Outdoor Cat and Instagram at Netia the Cat. I'll see you guys next week for the week 14 update.